lots of messages coming in about couples euthanasia, and I'm going to be reading those out right after we've done this segment on disability. And we've actually got a message on disability, which I'm going to read out in just a moment. You might or may not have seen the story, you might have even seen the video. This is Jenny Berry, a young woman who uses a wheelchair. And look what happened when she was at Dalston Junction Station and the lift was out. Let's have a look at this clip.
I'm Jenny, I'm a wheelchair user, and I'd recently travelled on the overground late at night to Dalston Junction Station, and unfortunately the lift was out of order. There was no signage at the station I'd left from to tell me that the lift was out of order, and there was also no staff around on the platform to assist in trying to get me to another accessible station in the opposite direction and then try and get home from there. So I crawled up this flight of stairs because my hotel was literally right outside this station. Staff did actually appear at the top of the stairs by the time I got there, but also found it hilarious when the lift technician announced that he'd just got the lift working when I'd got to the very top step.
He's working now.
Are you kidding me?
You can actually hear them on this recording laughing when they realise.
What found the lifts there? At least. Should be happy that. Yes.
As a wheelchair user, I'm not the first person this has ever happened to, and I certainly won't be the last. I just didn't want to travel back in the opposite direction to then try and get home and be stranded in the pouring down rain. Things need to change for disabled travellers, and quickly.
Yeah, I mean, there's me nodding along. We've already got a message on it. Disability. Hi, Tricia, the disabled lady having to crawl upstairs because the lift was broken. It's horrendous. How staff could laugh at her without going to help her is unbelievable. Instant dismissal. What is the world coming to? The first, that question I'm posing to my guest on this subject, Dr. Amo Raju OBE, who's the CEO of Disability Direct. Amo, have you ever been in that situation yourself?
I was at London St Pancras, and for those of your viewers that may not know me, I have cerebral palsy, so I need to access the lift when going up and down platforms, etc. And if that lift is not working, and in my case I had a suitcase because it was an overnight stay, the same thing happened, and I just had to obviously I didn't crawl up the stairs, but I had to go up one step at a time, and I slowed everybody down behind me. Obviously, people aren't so understanding sometimes when they're in a hurry. You know what London's like, everybody's in a hurry. And similarly to the story you just shared, the railway staff shrugged their shoulders. When's it going to be fixed? When's the lift going to be fixed? I don't know. It's been like that for a while. And just, you know, you as a disabled person, you feel like you're being a nuisance when you're asking a very simple question about equal access to a service. It's not even a service, it's a facility, an equal access to a facility which most people take for granted.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I mean, I was aware of these things, but until I had my own disability, I shattered my hip, and it's a complicated fracture. It's not just a hip replacement, and so I have great you know, suddenly things like stairs to me are huge. You're absolutely right. If you have to go on and hold on the banister, and I do the same, I have to go one step. People, well, this is in London, but anywhere, they're often very unsympathetic, and lifts are seen as something for lazy people. I'd put to you, before this happened, I've helped so many mums up the stairs with pushchairs as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You know, what's a basic necessity? You know, people sometimes think, I mean, my disability until I start walking isn't very visible. And so sometimes people, if I'm standing near the lift, sometimes people look at me like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you use the stairs? And it's, sometimes you have to justify as to why you have to use a piece of equipment. Technically, it's a piece of equipment. And there's so many disabled people across the UK who would share that kind of experience, whether it's at a railway station or a bus station or getting onto an aeroplane, off an aeroplane, whatever. The transport system has still got a long way to go when it comes to equal access for disabled people.
Yeah, I kind of wish that sometimes these town planners would have to go around with a wheelchair and actually see what it is they're planning. The other thing is getting on and off trains and on and off buses. Many of them are, have been converted to help, but a hell of a lot of them haven't. And rural areas, it must be even more difficult.
Well, this is it. The cities like London and Manchester and Birmingham, and they will have budgets to spend on access. Smaller towns and villages with a train where a station is only frequented once a day or something will not have that kind of money to spend on that equal access. And it's not just about lifts, etc. People with visual impairments may need signs in a certain way or markings, etc. Sometimes those things are just not there because. It's like you said, somebody needs to go around in a wheelchair. It's about the lived experience at the end of the day. Disabled people need to be in control of that conversation in terms of that planning process, not co-producing it, but actually in control of it. And a lot of providers, when they're making these decisions, use the term co-production in terms of, well, we've got disabled people around the table with us, and they're going to help us plan the layout of stations or hospital car parks or whatever. And at the end of the day, they still go where the budget is rather than where the need is. So if disabled people are in control of that conversation, you're less likely to be seeing stories like that poor woman.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for joining me and highlighting it. I do keep bringing it up when I can because it is an unheard voice. Dr. Amo Raju OBE, who is the CEO of Disability Direct and has been there, done it, and very unfortunately got the T-shirt. Maybe you've had a similar experience.